It's video time. Let me turn this fan off here real quick. Alrighty. So today I have a video comparison of two very similar guns, both Rugers. This is the LC9 and this is the Sr9c. You've seen this in a lot of my videos. I love this gun. I'll never stop loving this gun. It will always hold a place in my heart. I just kind of want to compare the two really quick, just so you get an idea. I mean, I know a lot of people, when they're deciding what they want to carry concealed, will end up with a choice like this, whether it's Carr's series of guns, Kel-Tec series of guns, Ruger series of guns, a mix between the two. There always seems to be, and I don't have the LCP here to compare, but there's always, I would say a small size 9, a very small size 9. Well, I guess you could call this a medium-sized gun. It's got a 5-inch, actually I think the slide ends up being about 6 inches when it's all said and done. And it's about 5 inches this way. But I don't know where I'd classify this. It fits into small pistol holsters, but I would call this a small pistol. This definitely will fit in your pocket, no doubt about it. An LCP will fit in anywhere. But anyway, so small, extra small, super small. We don't have an LCP because I can't shoot those things. The triggers are awful. But this is what we have to show you. So let's take a look at the size in general. This is considerably smaller and thinner. When I first got this, I thought this gun was so thin that I didn't know they could get much thinner. But the LC9 has kind of proven me wrong there. Both these are made by Ruger. Both of them are polymer frames with some type of metal steel slide, and they both have an extra finger extension mag here. This mag, I don't keep the long mag from my Sr9c. I actually traded it out for another 10-rounder, which you'll see here. 10-round mags, because I mean it's a compact gun for concealing. I don't know why you'd want a 17-round mag. Maybe it's the backup, but you still want to be able to conceal the backup pretty well too. So the only thing I don't like about this gun is that once you have a mag in here, you kind of got to lug this thing around, and you don't have to. You can go with just 10 bullets, but I don't know anybody who wants to do that. And that's where you're getting the advantage over the LC9, because you do have, between the two mags, you've got 20 rounds. 21 if you count one that you put in the chamber. Always keep the safety on if you're keeping one in the chamber. But yeah. So that being said, this is size-wise though much heavier. I wouldn't say much heavier actually, but heavier and bigger and more cumbersome than this gun. If we line them up together, you'll see that the length and width isn't too much different, but once you get to this portion, you see the thickness. This gun is significantly thicker than this gun, and it probably shaves off a good maybe 8 ounces or so between the two guns. But then again, when you figure this is loaded, 10 bullets versus 7 bullets, smaller mag, the whole deal, you're losing a good significant amount of weight. The one thing about the Ruger is it's got a very, I mean the Sr9c, they're both Rugers, it's got a very clean trigger. Just go ahead and do this for fun's sake. When you see the trigger just breaks nice, and I mean it's got a nice break there. Whereas with the LC9, it's more of a long kind of drawn out, because you'll see the hammer coming back here. Double action trigger. That being said, you know, there it is right there. And just to illustrate the reset point, it's not, I'll do it again. It's right there. Well, not there yet. We gotta keep going a little bit. There it is right there. Okay. So that's the reset point before it'll shoot again. Which is a significant distance. Whereas with the Ruger, we'll see here that the reset point is right there. I keep saying Ruger, the Sr9c. So it's a much shorter recoil point and reset point. And the reason why is this gun, while it is designed for concealed carry purposes, it's big enough to where it doesn't need all of the passive safety that comes with a smaller frame, smaller model gun such as this Ruger right here. Meaning, you know, if there's not a lot of gun here, so it's got a lot more odds or chances for the trigger to get caught up on something, or even just to be accidentally pulled if it had a really short travel to go. Whereas this one kind of protects itself a little bit more. It's wider, not as much can get into it, so the passive safety on this one is in the trigger right here. You see that little portion that moves? That'll move before the rest will move. And this one's just a long double action trigger. Both of them are pretty attractive guns. They have the same type of frame where they give you like a thumb groove on each side. Mag release is very similar. Takedown is pretty similar too, except with this gun, Ruger actually provides you with a pin that I already put away, so I'm not going to use that. But instead of just being able to push this right here, you actually have to hold this gun like this. Well, there's a little slider here, you got to pull it down. Hold the gun lined up with the hole, and then there's a pin you push on the other side to push the thing out, and then otherwise it all works the same way after that. But let's get that back up. There we go. And this is very similar to the P3AT or any Keltec gun. See that hammer back there kind of doing its thing? The sights are nice and visible. The front sight is a little thick, I think, for the sights that you're using here. The front sight on the LC9 is just about as thick as the Sr9c, but the rear sights are a little bit closer together on this than they are on the Sr9c. So it makes for a more difficult sight picture with the LC9. But I'll say one thing, they both have this stupid loaded one up indicator. Whatever happened to the hole, or like the little plug that comes up, or this thing is so ugly, and Ruger, I don't know why they've gone about doing that. It's just not attractive for their guns. Meanwhile, they are very attractive guns in general. I mean, this one's got a nice beaver tail type deal, so you're really not going to get any bite. The cool thing about these two is that this is the holster I like to use. It's an Ace case. It's really cheap. It's like a $10, $15 holster, but it really gets a good snug grip on the gun. Sits in there pretty nicely, and you know it's not really going anywhere. Whereas this one, because it's so light, it also has the same effect. You know, it'll slide out on this one, but it's still a pretty decent holster for this gun as long as you're not doing cartwheels and shit. And I'm 330 pounds, so I don't think I'm going to be doing any cartwheels anytime soon. I could do one. Maybe I'll show you in another video, but that's a video for another day. Let's see. So, oh yeah, going back to mag capacity. These are 7-round mags, so you go 7 plus 1. That gives you a total of 14 between two mags. The advantage though is that this mag right here is so much easier to tuck away. You can even fifth pocket that mag. You know, you can put that somewhere else. Whereas, you know, you're not lugging around another one of these, which I don't know if you guys get annoyed with shit in your pockets, but I certainly do. I've got a cell phone, a wallet, and keys that are always in my pockets. The less I have to add to accommodate my concealed carry situation, the better. Now, some people do wear them on their belt, but once again, I'm 330 pounds. It's not very comfortable for this to be jabbing into me. It's not very comfortable for the pistol either, to be honest, but that's more of a necessity, and I'd rather be able to avoid this. So, heck, tuck it in your shoe. I don't care what you do. This is definitely a nice, small, single-stack mag. Very easy to conceal as well as your pistol. What else can I talk about here? Talked about the sights, talked about the ergos. Price. So this gun, from what I can find, runs about $375. This gun runs about $425. Depending on where you get them, the prices will vary. I think the Sr9c is a hell of a lot more gun for the money. No doubt about it. I love this gun. I've shot tens of thousands of rounds with this gun, and look at how nice it's held up. I mean, there's no cosmetic issues on this gun whatsoever. And on the inside, I mean, there's a little bit of wear on the barrel and on the inside of the frame, a little bit of wear as well, but nothing notable, nothing except like you'd almost think, wow, they could come away from the factory, you know. But of course it didn't. But, it's nothing to turn your head at. So I mean, if you've got $425 and you've got to pick between one of these two, as long as the size of this gun, the Sr9c, isn't going to hinder you from carrying it, I would tell you to go with the Sr9c. This LCP, while it's a great gun, it's very small, it's very concealable. You could basically put it anywhere. It is a good value too, But the trigger pull is a little tougher, harder to do, harder to control. The Sr9c is one of the best qualities about it, and what you read up about a lot is the accuracy of this gun. People are very, very tight with it. People get great groups with this gun. I personally get some of my best groups with this gun. There's only one other 9mm pistol that I get better groups with, and well, there's two. I got a Baby Eagle and a High Power, and both of those get better groups than this, but that's only as of lately. I don't know why. But still, the groups I get with this are nothing to joke around with. We're talking about, 2-inch groups at 10 yards or so. Sometimes I shoot at 7 yards, it gets a little bit tighter. That's not professional shooting by your standards, but certainly accurate enough to say I know what I'm doing at least. With that being said, this one, like with the longer trigger pull and the more difficult trigger pull and the further trigger reset, you're going to have a harder time being accurate with this gun. Not only that, though, the decrease in weight is going to mean there's going to be a lot more felt recoil. So those extra ounces, now that I'm holding it now, it might even be a difference of a whole pound or so. I'll Google it for you guys and put it in the comments maybe. But the recoil you're going to feel from this gun is going to be much, much heavier than this gun, and that's with the same exact type of ammo. Like, don't switch it up at all, try it out, you'll see. Other than that, I think they're both solid choices. If you need an accessory rail, Sr9c's got one, this one doesn't. But these guns actually have lots of little guys you can, a light or a laser you can put right here. I'm not really quite sure where it goes on this one or how it works, but I'm sure you just put it on there. Other than that, the Sr9c definitely a better gun for the buck. Definitely more useful, more purposeful, more rounds, more everything. But, deep cover, LC9 is where you want to be. Hickok45 actually has a nice video on the LC9 too. He can hit anything with anything. He's out there hitting the gong from 75 yards away with this thing. I don't think I could do that. So that's all there is for that. Once again, James T signing out from the top secret location here in Texas. That's a bunch of Gumby stuff.